never played in C before, I would encourage you to go and take a look at my video preparing to play in C, just to familiarize yourself a little bit with the C chord and also with your C scale. Now, it's not too scary being in the key of C. We're still going to have some familiar things going on. This tune is a call and response tune. It's a two-part tune. A parts are played twice, B parts are played twice. Not so very different from our D tunes or G tunes. We're going to start off with our call phrase, phrase 1. Phrase. So we're going to start with just the beginning of that. Again. That was C, B, C, D, E, G. Continuing. That new section we'll do a couple more times. A, B, C, B, C, D, C, B, A, G. Is that right? Almost. A, B, C, B, C, D, C, A, G, G. First time I added in a B note there. So that again. Those two pieces together, that gives us phrase 1. We'll do that a couple times. Phrase 1. If you're not feeling comfortable with it yet, go ahead and pause the video, practice it 10 times, or 20 times, or 100 times, however many times you need to feel confident in it. Then come back and we're ready to start our phrase 2. Again, this is a long phrase, so we're going to break it into a couple of pieces. Again. Couple more times. Okay, A, B, A, G, E, G, A, B. And then our next piece, that again. right, so now we have phrase 1 and 2. We're going to try and put those two phrases together and play that through from the beginning. All right, I'm going to do that on loop a couple of times now, so you can practice with me, or again, pause the video, play it slower if you need to, repeat any parts you're struggling with, and then you can always join back in. So here it is, just phrase 1 and 2 on loop a couple of times, so I'll be repeating it as soon as I end it. So we have phrase 1 and 2 of our A part. I mentioned before that this is in call and response format. I also like to call that farmyard format. With some of my younger students, I've been referring to these phrases instead of phrase 1, phrase 2, phrase 3, phrase 4. We're using barnyard animals. So phrase 1 is our pig. Phrase 2 is our cow. And the format for this song is going to be pig, cow, pig, goat. Or phrase 1, phrase 2, our first ending, phrase 1 repeats, and then phrase 4, or you can call it phrase 3 since we never really had a phrase 3, is our second ending. So you can think of it in those terms, or it's a little more fun to just say pig, cow, pig, goat. So we've learned pig, we've learned cow. Now we're going to repeat the pig phrase, which means we're repeating phrase 1, which will go like this. So there we're having the exact same phrase played as we did in phrase 1. Pig, same pig again. So that means we just have one more phrase really to learn, and then we'll know our entire A part. And it's the goat phrase. So phrase 4 is going to be different from phrase 2. 1 and 3 match, 2 and 4 don't match. So phrase 4, though, in this case, is pretty similar to phrase 2. Let me play it all the way through for you. So you may have noticed the only difference really that's happening there between phrase 2 and phrase 4 is the very last note. When I have that walk down, you'll notice I'm just staying on that C note, my third finger on the G string. Before, when we were playing it as phrase 2, we continued walking down all the way until we got to that open G. So to play phrase 4, we're just cutting off those last 2 notes. We're not playing our first finger on the G string, which is our A note, and we're not playing an open G, which is a G note. We're just staying on the C, that third finger, and we're holding it for the value of time that we would be playing the first finger and the open G. And that's our phrase 4. So we'll do it a couple of times to practice. your bow there. To pulse, you can see my bow is just speeding up slightly near the end. So it's a slow bow, quick bow, slow bow. And that's a nice way to accent the note when you're holding it for a long time, rather than having sort of this bland sound. That's like just a plain white piece of paper, and that's fine, but you want to draw something on it. And that's our pulse. It can be a down pulse or an up pulse, depending on the direction of your bow. But anyways, talking too much. Let's do phrase 4 again. Phrases of our A part, pig, cow, pig, goat, and we're going to put them all together. Here we go from the beginning. So now we're going to practice playing that 2 times through from the very beginning. So we're going to play all 4 phrases, then go directly back to the beginning and play all 4 phrases again. So that's going to sound like... about a few double stops that you can put in if you want to take this to a more advanced level. If you're struggling right there, don't worry about these. This is something you can always come back and add in later. First of all, I want to say it's really nice to sometimes add a run as you come into phrase 1. So to do that, I'm just playing G, A, B, C natural, all on one bow stroke. And it's just like if you were drumming your fingers on a countertop, let's say. You're doing the same thing with your fingers on the string. Now from there, we're going to go ahead and add in some double stop options. Double stops are any time that you have 2 fingers placed on the strings and you're playing your bow on 2 strings at the same time. So in this case, what I'm doing is after I've had my run, and I've played that G note there on the D string, I'm going to leave that G note down. All the way until I have to move it to play the D note on the A string. So that third finger on the D string is just going to stay down, and my bow is going to be dragging on that string as I continue to play the melody. All those notes are going to have a G accompanying them. So then from the beginning we have one more double stop. Phrase 3, of course, has the same double stop because that's a repeat of the pig, same phrase coming through. And then the final phrase there in phrase 4, at the very end, where I'm staying on that C note, I drop down my E note, which is our first finger on the D string, and I'm playing a C chord to end. Still putting that little pulse in there, but with 2 strings rather than 1. And that's our A part of the tune. Welcome back. Quick change of scenery because I forgot about another class that was scheduled in that room. So we are here in my classroom now, and we have our whiteboard, so you can actually see our farmyard format example of pig, cow, pig, goat, or phrase 1, first ending, phrase 1 repeats, second ending. Those are our 4 endings, or our 4 phrases in a call and response tune. So we're going on to our B part now, and this B part is also in call and response. We'll be using that same example, and we're going to start off by learning our pig phrase, or phrase 1. Excuse me. All right, so we're going to start with just the beginning of that. A couple of times. That's E, G, A, G. And then our second half of this phrase, again, 2 more times. So that's E, G, A, G, E, A, G, E, C, C. So if we put those 2 pieces together, we have our entire phrase 1, or our pig phrase. And we'll do that a couple of times on repeat now. much time as you need. Pause the video, practice that until you feel comfortable. And then when you are comfortable, come back and we're going to start into phrase 2. This is the cow phrase of our tune. So it's going to be this. Let me double check that. Glad I checked it. It's a little different. That phrase again. So just like we did with phrase 1, we're going to break that in half. That's E-A, B-A. One more time. Then our second piece. It's a little bit of a longer piece, but the phrasing works together so that that section will flow more smoothly for you if you can play it connected rather than separated. So that again. Three more times. Now phrase 2, the entire phrase 2 will be those two pieces together. And we're going to practice that a couple times. Okay, so now we're ready to put together our first 2 phrases. Pig, cow. So it's going to sound like this. Why don't we do that on loop now a couple of times? So as soon as we get to the end of phrase 2, we're going to jump right back into the beginning of phrase 1. So now we have phrase 1 and phrase 2. You may be looking ahead and seeing that phrase 3 is going to be just the same as phrase 1. We're going to have another pig phrase. So phrase 1 and 3 are the same. So now we're going to have pig, cow, pig. And phrase 3 now, it's going to sound just like this. So let's try and put together phrase 1, 2, and 3. everybody? Pretty smooth? Why don't we practice it one more time before we worry about the goat phrase? Here we go. Phrase 1, 2, 3, or pig, cow, pig. And now we're ready for the goat phrase, phrase 4. Now phrase 4, I'm happy to tell you, you actually already know. If you learned part A of this tune with me, then the goat phrase from part A is actually exactly the same as the goat phrase in part B. Does that sound familiar, hopefully? Why don't we practice that on loop a couple of times? If you need a further breakdown of that, just rewind the tape, or I guess we're not in the 1990s anymore, so you can just skip back on this video and practice that with all the breakdown and the talk through the notes. But for now, we're just going to do it on loop a couple of times as a refresher. So this is the phrase 4, or the goat phrase of our B part. So now we have phrase 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to put them all together to create our B part. To Billy and the Lowground. So we're going to go ahead and play through that now 2 times in a row. As I mentioned in the beginning, this tune goes A part, A part, B part, B part. So we're now practicing the B part and then going right back to the beginning of the B part and playing it a second time. It'll go like this. Show you, just as we did in our A part, double stop options here in the B part. Now this B part has one tricky double stop in it, and it's one that's pretty unique to the key of C. For this double stop, we place our second finger so that it covers both the A string and the E string. So we're going to be playing second finger being our C natural on the A string, G natural on the E string. And I want to point out that unlike when playing, say, a bar chord on a guitar or another instrument, where you would flatten your finger like this, we're still going to be placing our finger like so, so that our second finger, we're still playing on the tip of it. We want to get that good tone that we're getting when playing a single string, but we're just placing it. Luckily, these strings are close enough together that they can be covered by a single finger, usually, most of the time, depending on the size of your fingers. So when placing that, that's the sound we're going for. It's a fifth apart, a C and a G together. And that we're going to be using here in our B part. We're going to play it right away when we go to play our G note there. And I'm just leaving it down as I'm playing my A there as a transition note. You can put that in salt and pepper. You can play it not fully continuously because we have to remove the G finger at some points. Or you can put it just at the very beginning, something like this. Or if you wanted a little bit more throughout that phrase. Could even land on that as your final note of the phrase. When we play our C on the A string, we could still use that same bar chord and play the G against it on the E string. Then when we go on to phrase 2, cow phrase, there I'm going to be using my open A against my A on the E string, that third finger. So no double stop, but we do have a drone there. And then it's single notes. So that phrase 2 again. Then phrase 3, it's the same as phrase 1. Phrase 4, same double stop ending as we had on phrase 4 of our A part. So now we have all of our double stops. We're going to put the entire tune together. We'll play it through slowly, first just without any double stops. And then on the repeat, so my first A part, I'm going to play with no double stops. The second A part, though, I'm going to add in those double stops that we practiced. And I'll do the same thing for our 2 B parts. And then we'll play it just a little bit quicker a second time through. Ready, and... And that is Billy in the Lowground.